Gamers have been inundated with remakes and remasters of games that aren't even that old, and every time a brand new IP comes out, now we all get a little bit excited, but unfortunately, many of them fail due to them just being very low quality or their monetization systems. And Foamstars, a brand new release, is being absolutely trashed by gamers for their insane microtransactions. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. So this is a DualShockers article I wanted to start with. It says Foamstars players call out Square Enix for insane microtransactions. Foamstars, the recently released party shooter title by Toy Logic, is getting some serious heat online for its incredibly overpriced microtransactions. For the price of one cosmetic bundle, you can purchase something like the entire Yakuza collection on Steam, which is currently 69% off and, quite frankly, a much better investment. Now, we're constantly looking for brand new video games, new IPs, because unfortunately, yes, we have been inundated over the past few years with tons of remakes and remasters. Well, and while I love some of those, it's just too much at this point. We need new, unique content, and it's just not what a lot of companies are giving us because they want assurance that they're going to make money, and by creating something new, they're taking risks. Like with this situation, this game is being directly compared to Splatoon. It's being called the M Splatoon, just because characters show a lot more skin. You've got these characters who, yes, are shooting guns. It's got the foam, which is very akin to, again, Splatoon. And so, while that was one criticism some people had, it did not look like a half bad experience, but unfortunately, now that it is finally releasing, we can actually see that this is just one major cash grab. So published by Square Enix, Foamstars is a new PlayStation exclusive 4v4 online party shooter that has been compared to the likes of the Splatoon series. As you might have already guessed, the key element of Foamstars is all about using foam to your advantage, whether it's creating terrain, slippery surfaces, or defending against enemies attacks. It's all about the foam and your wallet if you want some new designer threads. Now, this game had already launched to some controversy because it didn't just release with its intended pay model, so it is free currently for a limited time if you pay for PlayStation Plus, and then on March 5th it goes public and everybody on the platform can play it, but you have to spend $30 on it. And even if you already played it while it was on PlayStation Plus's early access, you still have to spend $30 for it. So right off the bat, people were very questionable when it came to that launch model. And then of course we have things like the fact that this is a live service game, and live service games are almost never successful. There are tons of live service games that companies are trying their darndest to push out and force people to accept, and it just not has worked. I mean, of course, I most recently talked about Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, which is a live service, and that game is doing terribly. And of course, when people see live service, it instantly turns them off from supporting a game. And then on top of it being live service, on top of it being a $30 game, you have the microtransactions, you have battle passes, you have cosmetic bundles. It's a nightmare. And obviously, when it comes to a free-to-play game, I'm a bit more lenient when it comes to how you can spend money if you want cosmetics, because of course every company needs to make money, every game needs to make money in order for it to be considered successful. But when you get to the point where you have to spend money to spend more money, that's a massive problem. And even if a game is free and has these microtransactions, of course they can always be way too blatantly obvious that they're a cash grab, like with battle passes. Many free-to-play games now have battle passes, but if you have something like Suicide Squad, which you have to pay an initial price for, and then they expect you to pay extra money for a battle pass, and in a lot of games, battle passes only last for one season, and then you have to buy another battle pass and another battle pass after that, it ends up being a significant amount of money, which is just not acceptable to me. And as it stands right now, these microtransactions are not game-changing microtransactions in any way. There's no like stat boosts or anything, but they're still very expensive. As you can see, just from this one tweet alone, there are currently in this early access period 2 special sets, and they are each $44.99. So they expect you to buy those on top of individual skins, which are $10 each. So there is, from what I understand, about $140 worth of microtransactions that you can currently purchase. And never mind if when the game fully launches, they launch other skins to go along with that, as well as something like, the Battle Pass. And you might be saying to yourself, I really wanted to play this game. I really wanted to try it out. And of course, if you do, that's awesome. I hope that you play it. I hope that you enjoy it. But when a game has microtransactions like this, the only way you can show a company the microtransaction cost is too much and what they're doing is insane is if you like the game, play it, but don't spend money on it. So they can see it's got a lot of interest, but it isn't generating, too much money. And then it leads them to either, of course, shutting down the game, which is unfortunate if you end up enjoying it, or realizing they need to charge less. Even if the game is free, they need to charge less for microtransactions. And then they might actually listen to consumers. Unfortunately, over the years, we've seen a lot of live service games launch, companies not listen to feedback, and then they end up having to shut the game down because of how abysmally it is doing. This reminds me also of just a few years ago, Square Enix putting out Babylon's Fall. But maybe there is a chance that this will generate enough interest, right? And the player numbers will be really good, but then there will be no microtransactions purchased. And then they'll end up saying, we need to slash these prices and we need to make the prices very low in order to, make cosmetic sales. And again, things like Fortnite, right? Games like Apex Legends, they are free to play completely. So this game is different in that sense because it's going to be $30. But also, while they do have these microtransactions, they are cosmetic only. And we can hope that with Foamstars, they do keep them cosmetic only, that they will not end up putting microtransactions in the game that do affect gameplay, but only time will tell. And at this point, if they're willing to go this far, I wouldn't particularly trust them at this point in time. And people are furious over this. People are pointing out the pricing of the microtransactions as questionable due to the fact that it's a new live service IP that could very well be shut down in the future if it doesn't meet the company's expectations. Another big reason why I personally do not spend a lot on microtransactions in these games. I don't play a lot of live service titles in general because I don't want my time to be invested into something that could end up being shut down or going nowhere. But also, yes, it is a new live service IP that in a year they could shut down because it did terribly and then you're out of that money. It's not like they're going to refund you for it. Plenty of other users on X are describing the pricing as nuts, out of pocket, and a disgrace. And it's sad because its teasers and trailers were pretty highly regarded. A lot of people said, wow, this actually looks half decent. I personally cannot get by the fact that it looks like Splatoon. I don't have a lot of interest in it, but that doesn't mean that I don't want other people to give it a chance and other people to potentially enjoy it. Just because I don't like the look of something doesn't mean you have to dislike it. You're allowed to like it, and I hope that if you think it looks cool, you give it a chance, you end up playing it, and I hope that it ends up being a fantastic experience for you. But I personally am someone who is very weary when it comes to new IPs, live service titles, and while we're constantly asking for new IPs, it's just unfortunate that they decided to take it in this live service direction. It will be interesting to see what happens in the next few weeks up until official launch, and if official launch even goes decently for, of course, Toy Logic and Square Enix, but only time will tell. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.